Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Suzerain. Sorry, give me 1 second. Get my timer started. So, last part we joined the ATO, the Arcasian Treaty Organization. And see, we got a late night at our household. Interesting. After weeks of late nights, Monica, Ciara, and the Women's Rights Commission had succeeded in getting their bill through the Assembly. The result wasn't as comprehensive as they'd hoped for, but it was a good start. I was looking forward to celebrating with my wife, but it had been hours since I'd gotten home and she wasn't there. And she still wasn't there. I was dozing on the couch after yet another frozen TV dinner when I heard the key turn in the lock. Monica stumbled into the hall. "Honey, I'm home." Let's give her a kiss. I kissed her. Her breath smelled like gin. I was just having a few drinks with Ciara. I'm actually amazed any version of her bill passed, given how stacked the Assembly was against us. But, of course, she wants to keep pushing for more. You could have invited me to the celebrations. Oh, you would have found it boring, and somebody had to look after Deanna. My God, I'm starting to see what I put you through for all those years. Get used to it, baby. I'm not gonna stop until we get what we're asking for. True equality for all women in Sordland. Seriously, Anton, this is what I want to do. I've never felt so alive. I'm happy if you're happy. Monica wrapped her arms around me. Now all we have to do is make sure you stay in office. And that's where the real politics begins. We stayed curled up on the couch, talking about my re-election strategy and the next steps with the women's rights bill until Monica took my hand and wordlessly led me upstairs to the bedroom. Okay, and we're just going to leave what happened up there to your imagination. Let's see, okay, one-on-one interview with Kirut. Lucien Galad organized an interview for the presidency on the internationally renowned one-on-one. The famous journalist Tumas Sakar will be asking the questions. The crew of one-on-one and Tumas Sakar will arrive next week in Lockhaven from Kirut. Okay, yeah, that's that nation. Here we go, these guys. Okay, looks like just this one left for here. Okay, ooh, okay. That's not very good. Vogslandian Navy spotted in full force in Heligeland. According to intelligence reports, the Vogslandian Navy gathered in full force around Heligeland, blockading the island. The reports warn about a possible violent conflict between Agnolian and Vogslandian forces. Swordish Navy in Conriat is on standby. Oof. Oh, well, I guess that's how we're gonna get this war started, I guess. At least that's what it's looking like. Let's see. ATO demands transit rights from the Confederacy of Yarktralis. The Arcasian Treaty Organization has formally requested land and naval transit rights from the Confederacy of Yarktralis to establish a secure route circumventing southern Cantana and southern Xena. The request highlighted Yarktralis' critical geopolitical importance as a key connector for ensuring uninterrupted transit and communication in the region. The Confederacy declined the request, citing its adherence to sovereignty, territorial integrity, and environmental stewardship. Elder Overseer Rangi Weramutu explained that granting such access could endanger the safety of its citizens and disrupt the balance the Confederacy has carefully upheld. Despite the refusal, Yarktralis has maintained its diplomatic ties with the ATO. Okay, I don't think they're on this map. I could be wrong, but I don't think they are. No, they do not look to be on this map. Let's see, what do we got over here? CSP launches Unified Intelligence Agency. In a move that marks a significant milestone in collective security, the CSP has announced the establishment of the Complex Unified Intelligence Network, or QUN. QUN? We'll go with QUN. This unprecedented network consolidates the intelligence capabilities of all CSP member nations, enabling a higher level of operational synergy and facilitating seamless information sharing among the Alliance members. QUN's establishment demonstrates the alliance's commitment to a unified front in the face of evolving security challenges by promoting transparency and cooperation among its member states. QN stands as a robust and resilient counterweight to threats that could potentially compromise the collective security of the CSP alliance. Volksland increases naval presence in Grey Strait. It is being reported that the Volkslandian Navy has increased its presence along our shores, particularly at the Grey Strait. The already massive fleet patrolling the Markian Sea is now accompanied by a second one. According to our intelligence, Volkslandians are also installing defense systems with offensive capabilities on their southern shores. This poses a great danger for Holsword and the whole country. Agnolian signals a standing with Sordland. PM Van Horten has said in a statement that Agnolia will stand against the Volkslandian harassment together with Sordland. He condemned Chancellor Hegel for trying to dominate the Markian Sea and warned us of a potential war. I feel like it's weird for you to say that you stand with Sordland, considering that the attack sounds like it's going to be on Helgeland here, which is owned by you, not me. So if anything, it should be us saying that we stand with you, not the other way around. But okay. Okay. Let's see, we got some news report here. Sordland's largest military parade ever. President Rain has announced Sordland's largest military parade ever to display the strength of the Swordish armed forces to the world. During the glorious day, tanks will roll, jets will fly, and our soldiers will march. Young and old Swordish citizens will come together to once again cheer for our soldiers. The parade will send a clear message to our enemies. Beware. President Rain will be joining the parade with a motorcade and a drive through Victory Avenue. God damn, I didn't realize we were in Russia. President Rain has signed the Minority Rights Act. While the name suggests differently, the main purpose of this act is to normalize, legalize, and... Okay, this is just a repeat of the previous decision. Somewhere further down here. This one. That seems like it's a bug, presumably, because it seems weird that I'm getting two news articles with basically the exact same text. The only difference here is this one refers to it as the Minority Rights Act, while the one down here, I believe, refers to it as the Bluish Rights Act. But otherwise, it is the exact same text. And the other one popped up in a way that makes a lot more sense. It popped up after I made the decision. This one was a couple of turns later. Now this did not pop the last time, so this one is new, but presumably it's for the exact same thing. But yeah, Keebner, of course, condemns us because the Bloods are inferior or some shit like that. Obviously isn't going to say that out loud. He doesn't think he has the power for that. But that's basically what he's going to say. According to the numbers released by the Workers' Party of Bludia, there is a massive increase in their membership, breaking a new record for the party. The polls also show that the popularity of the party has reached new heights in Bergia and is expected to finish the first or the second in the region of Bergia. Mansoon Leek said in a public statement the Workers' Party is leading a great journey to the Maroon Palace to finally bring about the People's Revolution. Those who are at the top may continue ignoring us, but the people will respond to them in polls. Whoa, buddy, I'm not ignoring you. Hell, I just tried to help you out. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Sordland creates peace line to avert war. Following Rumberg's demands for reparations from Sordland, the tensions have increased dramatically between the two countries. Yesterday, a Swordish warplane... No, it wasn't yesterday, though. A Swordish warplane has been shot down by the Rumberg anti-air systems, and all of the pilots on board have been killed. As per the information from Rumberg, the Swordish warplane has trespassed into Rumbergian airspace, whereas Swordish military reports that the plane was inside Swordish borders when it was shot. The international community is unclear of the certainty of the reports from both sides. Thankfully, the Swedish administration approached the incident calmly and established a peace line to avert war between the two countries. President Rain has been commended internationally for his efforts to de-escalate the situation and maintain peace, which means if the Rumburgians proceed to go to war, that will play out in our favor because we will be able to show that, hey, we attempted to de-escalate the situation, they didn't want to go through with it. Okay, here we go. Medium investment synergy observed. A moderate level of investment synergy is being observed across several sectors. Investments are generally aligning well and contributing to steady economic progress, while some areas could benefit from improved coordination. Overall, the positive interplay between various investments is supporting consistent economic growth. Wonderful. Rain 57 campaign advert. Okay, I don't got a lot of money, unfortunately. I'd imagine I probably have more choices if I had more personal wealth. Actually, I'm curious about that. Let me see. Does this say, list that in here at all? I'm really curious if I had more money, if I'd be able to have more. Yes, I would. If I had 4 personal wealth, I would be able to do a medium scale ad. If I had 6 personal wealth, I would be able to do a large campaign ad. So, yeah. I don't think there's really going to be much for me to spend my money on, though. We really, I don't think, got tons of stuff to spend our money on all that often. Let's go ahead, I think, and do a... Might as well just spend what money we have on a small-scale ad campaign. It'll help us out a little bit. Okay, election speech at the USP headquarters. The sun was starting to peek through the blinds of my suite in the Grand Chariot Hotel in Enrica. I hadn't slept at all that night. I was too busy thinking about how I would rally my party's conservative base at today's election kickoff. I was pulling on my clothes when 2 soft, sharp knocks came at the door. Lucian. Good morning, sir. I hope you brought coffee. Lucian sat down in the suite's office chair and pulled a piece of paper from his jacket pocket. No, that's not coffee. I just thought I'd drop off some talking points for your speech today. Much appreciated. No trouble at all. I'm ready to hit the campaign trail again. I'm ready if you are, Mr. President. I'll see you at the rally. I almost forgot the Archpriest of Deer couldn't be present today, but wanted to relay a message of support to you and your family. Oh, that's intriguing. What'd he say? I bless the rains down in Enrico. Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay. Alright. Was the guy's name Toto? It seems like it should be. Lucian left the room. I finished putting on my tie and reread my notes for the morning's speech. A few hours later, I was waiting in the wings of the North Surd Auditorium in Enrica, and the audience were several thousand of my conservative supporters. Behind the podium hung the Swordish flag and a giant banner that read, "For United Sordland." Enrica Mayor Curtin Listy gave a brief introductory speech. It was hard to forget how the Benfey event went down. Everyone cheered as I walked on stage, though Mayor Curtin Listy was now part of the opposition. As a member of the NFP, it seemed most of Enrica was still on my side. Peter gave a short speech introducing me, then it was my turn. I stepped behind the podium and took a deep breath. Ladies and gentlemen of Enrica. The past 3.5 years have seen our country tested again and again. Let's see. I don't know if we are actually technically could say that we are stronger than ever. I mean, yes, the economy is growing right at this second, and there are other metrics to look at. Fuck it. We'll go with that one. Yet Sordland has prevailed under my administration. We are stronger than ever. Now, with my re-election, I will finish pulling Sordland's economy from the depths of recession. Under my presidency, Sordland citizens have united like never before. We'll continue to fight for the constitutional reforms Sordland deserves. And I will continue to root out corruption and wrongdoing even within the institutions we hold dear. Thunderous applause erupted. Sounds too dictatorial. Sordland has changed, but the USP remains as strong as ever. There's been tremendous progress made in this term, and more is to come. Into a bright new era, or until we finish what we started? Bright new era. A roar shook the hall. We will form a broad coalition of supporters to make sure morning finally comes. It's time to get back on board the rain train. God, that sounds stupid. So remember, vote Rain 57. The audience roared as steamers shot out of cannons behind me. My re-election campaign had officially begun. I stepped down from the podium. Well, that sounds like it went pretty well. Oh. How did I just gain some money? I'm confused as to how I just magically gained some money. Mixed economy, okay. Private property rights are protected under the government's economic policies, allowing individuals and businesses to exercise a certain level of economic freedom. However, authorities reserve the right to intervene in economic activities when necessary to serve the interests and needs of Sordland. Recovered a trade volume, wonderful. Lorien, economy stabilizing. Okay, so let's see. Recent diplomatic efforts by Sordland have led to the successful signing of a comprehensive trade deal with a significant trade partner, which has resulted in a noticeable recovery of trade volume. This has had a positive impact on the economy, as the increased trade has led to the creation of new jobs and an overall boost in economic activity. Just ignore that the economy is now back down to stable rather than growing again. But hey, we also got one government budget somehow. I still don't know how the hell we got that. The Lorien region is beginning to stabilize its economy thanks to the investments we have made in the area. However, despite these efforts, the region is still facing significant economic challenges that are affecting its ability to thrive. Gruny barely maintains growth. That's a shame. Despite concerted efforts and strategic investments, the economic situation in Gruny is demonstrating marginal stability. The region, famed for its fertile vineyards and vital export sectors, grappling with notable economic challenges that impact its potential growth. Anglin lacks investments. Didn't we literally just invest in them when we built the damn road? Apparently the road wasn't good enough. The Anglin region is in crisis as the lack of investment has led to a rapid decline in its economy. The region, which was once known for its stable economy, is now facing unprecedented challenges that threaten its social fabric and economic stability. With rising levels of crime, homelessness, and unemployment, the region is struggling to cope. That's a shame. Funding disruptions and welfare. The ongoing economic crisis has posed a challenge for the government's efforts to sustain welfare programs. The budget constraints have impacted the efficiency of these programs, leading to a decline in the quality of services offered. This has become a pressing concern for many citizens who rely on these programs to meet their basic needs. The government is exploring alternative funding options and cost-cutting measures to ensure that these programs continue to operate effectively. Red Youth and Young Swords fight. Oh, of course they did. 14 people injured and lying in the hospital. Well-funded Reign 50... it's not very well-funded, if we're honest. At the 1957 campaign, or as the 1957 campaign closed in, President Reign started his campaign. Posters and leaflets are distributed across every city, big or small, in Sordland. The campaign is estimated to cost millions of Swordish Ren. Due to this, many of his opposition are criticizing Mr. Reign for spending time campaigning, while there are still scores of problems in Sordland. I mean, that may be true, but also, I haven't really spent that much time campaigning, or at least in terms of events. Presumably, stuff could have happened off screen. Young Swords oppress Blutish protesters. Oh, no, guys, seriously. Okay. Let's see, regional map. What do we got going on here? Okay. Ooh. The ATO's announcement on the development and operational deployment of the first long-range bombers has marked a significant milestone in its military capabilities. There's something I want to say, but we'll wait till we get to the end. These state-of-the-art aircraft designed with advanced radar evading technology now extend ATO's strike range from western Maricopa to eastern Maricopa, northern Xena, and the eastern Anrakan archipelago. This strategic advantage not only underlies ATO's robust defensive posture, but solidifies the Alliance's air power projection, standing as a testament to its advanced aerial warfare capabilities. Furthermore, the deployment of these bombers serves as a deterrent to potential adversaries, showcasing ATO's readiness to counteract any offensive actions that threaten its collective security. The initiative sends a strong message to the international community about the dedication of the Alliance to maintaining peace and stability in its areas of influence. The thing that I think is being forgotten, if memories, and I might be misremembering, but I don't think I am on this. And if I am, then you can ignore what I'm about to say. But if memory serves me correctly, there was an event way back near the start of the game that talked about the CSP basically launching an intercontinental ballistic missile, or testing one at least, something to that effect. I vaguely recall something about that. If I'm completely wrong, like I said, you can ignore what I said, but if memory serves me correctly, there was something about them testing an intercontinental ballistic missile, which, let's be real here, is a significantly more useful tool, generally speaking, compared to those long-range bombers. Particularly if we're being honest, those long-range bombers are probably intended to be able to serve as one part of a nuclear triad. If we're completely honest, let's be real here. Those are presumably meant to be able to carry nuclear bombs and drop them. And while those have their advantages over missile silos carrying intercontinental ballistic missiles, in terms of a first strike capability, those still tend to be better than the bombers, because it's less prep time before you launch. CSP announces Universal Minority Rights Convention. The Content and Security Pact has announced the Universal Minority Rights Convention, an initiative to safeguard the rights of minority groups both within its member states and beyond. This new framework represents an expansion of the Alliance's human rights agenda, emphasizing equal opportunity, social justice, and inclusivity as fundamental principles. The convention aims to address rising nationalist movements that jeopardize social cohesion and to set an example for other nations to adapt similar measures. By establishing these protections, the pact seeks to promote a diverse and inclusive society that values the contributions of individuals from all ethnic, cultural, and social backgrounds. Okay, here we go. This is probably going to be the last event for the part. Got 20 minutes left, and I don't know how long this is. Okay, I arrived at the Ministry of Economy and proceeded upstairs. An assistant waiting by the door to the meeting room took my jacket. I opened the door and entered the largest boardroom in the building. Simon was waiting alone with a glass of water and his documents laid out before him. He stood up when I entered and approached me. After a quick handshake, I took a seat. Good afternoon, Mr. President. How's it going? I'm pretty swamped with work, barely getting any time with the family. The glee in his voice was barely disguised. Okay. A knock was heard on the door and Peter entered the room. I hope I'm not late. Did you start yet? Mr. Vice President, no, not yet. Now that everyone is here, let's begin. As you all know, we're here to review the economic progress we've made over the past term and decide how to proceed. I will brief you quickly on what we have done so far, just as a refresher. Very well, let's hear it. He gathered the documents in the pile in front of him and adjusted his glasses. From the pile, he produced 2 booklets and handed them to us. Our extra focus on the economy has resulted in some small-scale positive growth. The extra resources have been a boon to my ministry. It would be great if we followed up on this focus during our next term. Let's take a deep dive into the details now. Please turn to page 5. Okay, let's start off with our economy plan. I would like to say we are on track, but unfortunately I cannot. Our decisions so far have not been in line with our initial intention for a market economy. Looks like we are going for a mixed approach. Instead, something in between a market and a planned economy, we have deviated from our plan. I don't see a problem with that. It is sometimes necessary and justified to deviate from a plan. I agree, plans change all the time. Just pointing out the facts here. Let's move on with the report. Please turn to page 16. Okay. Status of trade and the effects of foreign policy. I'm happy to say that our trade has increased since the beginning of our term. We are on the right path. More trade means a more vibrant economy, which means unbridled economic development. For better or for worse, Sordland is becoming quite reliant on foreign economies. I don't like that, but it can't be helped now. True, we must look ahead. We need to aim for a more balanced approach. We will have to carefully consider this matter during our second term. Please turn to page 17. Okay, in our attempts to repair Sordland's economic system, we have mostly gone against the wishes of big businesses in favor of the requests of Sordish citizens. This causes us to take on some losses in order to make the people happy. Thankfully, living standards are steadily increasing. We've been receiving fewer and fewer complaints about our welfare systems. That's great. For our election prospects, Exactly. Some of our industries have also been knocked down to their knees by our recent taxations. Demand for these goods has decreased drastically, which led to businesses in these industries being shut down. Some people are calling the government out for infringing on their personal liberty. Apparently, some even filed lawsuits saying the taxes violate their human dignity. Their lawyers argued for them that they need it for the mental health treatment. Now to page 34. Okay. Production in our economy has nearly doubled since the start of our administration. It is a great success. Couldn't ask for more. Good work. You're a wizard, Simon. He's got the glasses, I guess. Teamwork makes it happen. Moving on to logistics, our situation has improved above and beyond our expectations. Our infrastructure projects have paid off in the long term. Smoother commutes, easier access, faster delivery times. Everybody's happy. We're very close to the end. I want to talk about a few numbers. Please turn to page 57. I have prepared a chart. Oh God, a chart. Our inflation rate is currently at a staggering 49%, way up from 10%. It might be the highest in Sordland's history. The Sordish Ren has been wildly fluctuating as a result, and consumer prices have gone up, which means that Sordish citizens are angry at us. Let's see. If we're not re-elected, we can't help them. Agreed. Mr. President, do you have any questions so far? What is our debt situation? Our debt is at 513 billion Sordish Ren, way more than the 427 billion Sordish Ren at the beginning of our term. Basically, it has budged significantly down from where we started. I would still consider this as an economic loss, as we inherited a recession. We essentially increased the possibility of an uncontrollable debt spiral. Due to our reckless spending in the first term, I'm sorry to say that we have entered a debt crisis. According to my calculations, we won't be able to pay up our government debt without the assistance of a third party. It has even disrupted funding to our welfare plans. Some construction projects and programs needed to be put on hold because of that. Okay, how are we doing with unemployment? The unemployment rate remains steady at 16%. The stagnation is mostly due to the lack of investments in average economic planning. Latest numbers on our GDP. Our current GDP is at 114 billion Swedish ren, a major decrease from the 310 billion Swedish ren we had at the beginning of our term. As per the latest stats, the economy shrank 18% in the last 4 years on average. In short, we are suffering from a decreased economical capacity. Okay, those are all the questions I had. Very well, I want to quickly highlight our budget expenditure. My numbers indicate that overall we have been generally spending our government budget. Money that is not spent is just pieces of paper, so that's good for us. Now, going into the election and hopefully a second term, we need to decide on the way forward. One thing is clear, we need a bigger budget. We shouldn't start our next term with a budget deficit. What should we do, Mr. President? Any ideas? No, well, clearly we'll take an international loan from MFI. This will pose quite a risk to the reputation of our administration, but it can be done. I'll get right on it after this meeting. Now that that's out of the way, during our first term we have faced many challenges in the midst of a recession. We've worked hard to fight against the odds, but it was not enough. Simon paused to wipe his glasses. He swallowed before continuing. Mr. President, you may have surmised from the numbers I've given you that the economy has worsened considerably over the course of our administration. I wanted to prepare you for the truth. This is no longer a mere recession. We've entered a period that historians might reasonably refer to as the Swedish Great Depression. We have broken our promises and failed our people. My only hope is that future generations will be able to forgive us when they look back. We've done all we could. Now is the time to look to the future and try to fix our mistakes. Yes, some things can't be undone, but for the economy at least, there's still hope. We will get through this together. That is all for our meeting today. Thank you for coming. The meeting dispersed, I hurried to the cafeteria to get a cup of coffee. International MFI loans. Moderate growth in Groony's economy. Wonderful. Economic investments felt in Moorbill. Wonderful. Economic growth increased by 10%. But really doesn't seem to be doing shit for them, evidently. HOS AIDS election campaign. Marcel Caranti's HOS Advertising, the biggest advertising agency at Sordland, volunteered to help with the election campaign. They'll provide consulting and design work for campaign material. The agency will also provide video material for television, which will be televised extensively on the channels owned by the HOS Media Group. HOS resorts will also be open to all party events and meetings during the campaign period. Amnesty given to thousands. Okay. What do we have here? Increased crime and racial violence plagues Sarna. Okay, that's not very good. Celebrations in Suzerain. Many of the locals in Suzerain gathered at the city square to celebrate the revocation on the ban on the British Freedom Party. The mayor of Suzerain reported that the amnesty and the revocation were greeted by the Suzerains with festivities, dancing, and singing continued well into the night. Good. Well, you know, potentially. British Freedom Party starts campaigning. Their first rally will be held in Deer tomorrow. Tons of salmon left rotting in how? Makes no fucking sense to me. Okay. Okay. I don't know who General Luderin is, so doesn't seem to be anybody that we interact with. I'm guessing he's dead. Oh yeah. Yeah, he did. Executed 1929. Okay. Low public opinion. 35%. Not great. Not great at all. What do we got here in the news? Tensions boil over. Okay, more fighting between the Red Youth and Young Swords. Alfonso Foundation expands reach to Enrica and Arcasia. Okay. Or Enraka, rather. Ooh, okay. Enrakan has a nuclear-powered vessel. Which is interesting, because I feel like they're a fairly small country. Aren't they? I don't know if they're actually on this map. They may not be on this map, but I don't know. For some reason, I feel like they're a small country. I'm somewhat shocked if they actually have a nuclear-powered vessel. Okay, here we go. Swordish Great Depression. The current economic climate in Sordland has taken a severe downturn, leading to what is now being referred to as the Swordish Great Depression. The sharp rise in unemployment, coupled with a steep decline in gross domestic product, displays the gravity of the situation. Which I feel like these things are just kind of not making sense fully, if I'm honest. Oh, hey, these numbers are doing great, but somehow these other numbers that should be influenced by the first numbers are doing completely terribly. What? How? How does that make any sense? Okay, well, that's going to be it for this part, I believe. Yep. PFJP's Victor slogan, victory for everyone. Interesting. Yeah, well, we will do the scheduled television interview next time. But until then, goodbye and farewell.